Hello friends, welcome back. I am so happy to see you again. Today I am going to show you how to make a very versatile, easy, and delicious yeast dough that you can use to make lots of other things. You can use this dough to make cinnamon rolls, monkey bread, just plain dinner rolls or bread sticks. You can also make pizza with it. And I will show you how to make all of those things. But first, let's start with the dough. First thing you want to do is measure out all of your ingredients. I have everything sitting here: my milk and water, flour, sugar, yeast, salt, and butter. We need some warm milk and water and softened butter to go into our dough first. So I'm going to take these 2 tablespoons of butter and squish them into my measuring bowl. I'm going to put this in the microwave to get it warm. The butter will not melt all the way, but it should get soft, and it'll take me about 30 seconds to a minute. Be right back. Okay, well, the milk, water, and butter are getting warm. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my ingredients. This is 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. Can also be active dry yeast. One just rises quicker than the other. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to go ahead and mix this all together. Always mix your dry ingredients before you add any liquids to them. That way you're sure that everything is evenly distributed throughout the mixture. Okay, here is my water, milk, and butter. And as you can see, the butter is not completely melted. There's still some chunks in there, and that's okay. We just want it to be soft, so we'll mix in. But we need to check the temperature. You can use an actual thermometer for this, but I just use the blood temperature test. When you put your finger in there, it should feel warm and comfortable like your own body temperature. If it feels hot and you feel like it would be too hot for you or too hot for a baby to get into, then it's too hot for your yeast too. You'll kill them. We don't want to kill them. We want to wake them up and get them active. Okay, here we go. Let's pour it in. And then you are simply going to take your wooden spoon and mix until you get a cohesive ball of dough. Be continually scraping the sides to get all of that flour. And you'll see some softened butter in there. That's fine. When we need it, it'll get worked in. Okay. Should be able to get all of the dough worked in and off of the sides of the bowl. I should be able to pick it up with my wooden spoon without it falling off the spoon. It's a cohesive mass. Okay. Now we move on to the kneading stage. We are going to put a little bit of flour. I sprinkle a little on my board. Set that aside in case I need more later. Turn the dough out onto the board. Now we are going to knead this until it is soft and smooth. Now, dinner roll dough and cinnamon roll dough, things for sweetbreads, are called rich or enriched doughs. They're enriched with egg or milk or more fat, as opposed to a lean dough like pizza dough or no-knead bread, breadsticks, things like that are a leaner dough. That means they have very little fat or dairy, so they're going to be less soft. This is a very soft dough. So to knead it, I'm going to start with the pads of my fingers, lifting it up gently, folding it towards me, and then using the heels of my hands to push it away very gently. And then turn it, fold it, and push. Turn, fold, and push. And you will keep doing this until it becomes very smooth and it's not sticking to your hands anymore. If you have a bench scraper, this is also known as a dough cutter, this is a really useful tool. It's flat and thin, and it can scoop up dough and scrape your board at the same time. If you don't have that, it's fine, but it's super helpful. Ask for one for your next birthday. Okay, fold, push, and turn. Fold, push, and turn. Fold, push, and turn. We're gonna just keep doing this. And at first, I'm very gentle. I'm not pushing very hard, because this dough is not tough enough to handle that. And what we're doing here is just building up the strength of the gluten, which will take a little longer in this dough because of the fat that's inhibiting its growth. Remember, we have butter in there. We also have milk in there, and those things are enriching. So they make dough softer and make them take a little bit longer to rise and a little bit longer for the gluten to develop. So this should take about 5 minutes of kneading, and then we'll let our dough rest and we'll see how it grows. The dough, when it's ready, should feel like super soft, warm Play-Doh. Like maybe you put it in the microwave for a little bit and it softened up, but it should not be sticking to you anymore. I'm gonna form it into a nice round ball. And the reason we do this is we don't want any of the carbon dioxide gas that the yeast lets off to escape. We want it to raise our dough up. So we are going to form it into a ball. I'm going to put it back in my mixing bowl. And then cover it with a towel. The reason we cover this with the towel is just to make sure that it doesn't dry out on top or form a weird skin. So now we're going to just let this rest for about 30 minutes until it gets, it's not gonna quite double in size, but it'll grow to be about 1.5 times, okay? See you back when it's ready. Cinnamon rolls, a classic. So while our dough is rising, I'm gonna go ahead and set out all of the ingredients that we will need to make the filling. 1 stick of softened butter, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Now the first step is to soften this butter up in the microwave. I'm going to show you this really cool trick that I learned from culinary arts students in the Sabin-Schallenberg Technical High School in our school district. Years ago, I subbed there, and the kids were making cinnamon rolls, and they showed me this really neat trick for applying your filling to the dough. So we're going to take our softened butter. My butter's been sitting out all day, and I'm going to cut it into chunks so that it will soften quicker. We do not want it to become melted. I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds. If it becomes melted, the benefit of using the butter soft instead of melted goes away. So make sure you don't melt it. About 10 seconds in the microwave. Softened but not melted means that when I push my finger in, it still holds its shape. You can see its indent. It's easy to flatten it, but there's no liquid running around, okay? Okay, see how that comes together? There's no powdery sugar left. It's just a big old blob of paste, and it is yummy. Okay, we're gonna go check on our dough, see if it's ready. All right, here's our dough. I've poked it a few times, and I can see that it is not super full of air, but I'm really impatient, so I'm not gonna wait anymore. I am ready to make cinnamon rolls. And what I want you to know about this is that you don't have to wait. It's nice to wait and get the dough nice and fluffy and full, which takes about a half an hour. It could take a little longer, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll this out now, and I'm gonna let it rise after I've turned it into cinnamon rolls. So here's my dough. Here's a little bit of that flour that I had from earlier, and I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle it out onto my board. And what I've done here too on my board, just so that you can see, is I've created a guide for you and for me, so you can see this is the rectangular shape that we want to turn our dough into when we roll it out. We want this dough to be roughly 15 inches long and 9 inches wide. So let's see if we can do that. A little bit of flour on my board. It helps if you start it in a rectangular shape. Oh, this feels so nice and soft. Start in a rectangular shape, and it'll be easier for you to roll out and keep its shape, okay? So just gently back and forth. And what I do to make sure I have an even thickness whenever I'm rolling something is to always start back at the middle and go out, middle, and back. Middle and out, middle and back. So I'm always doing an equal number of rolls on all sides. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with a really fat side and a super thin side, and I don't want that. So I'm going to keep rolling. I'm doing my best to get this to be the length that we need. We need about, I just need it to be a little longer. Now, if your dough is springing back too much and it's too difficult to work and it won't stay put when you roll it, you can just stop, relax, give it 10 minutes to rest. The gluten is super tight and it just needs a chance to relax itself, and then it'll let you roll it out a little more, okay? Mine's doing pretty well though. I just have this weird spot over here that isn't making the shape that I want. I want to keep it to a rectangle, but that's okay. Pretty close. Now, that paste we made, here we go. All we're going to do now is frost the inside to frost our dough. So I'm going to dump it all out and try to get an even thickness throughout the whole piece of dough. And all you want to be careful of is to leave a little bit of a margin around the outside of the length. That way, when we roll it up, you have something to stick it to. The sugar and fat that's in the filling is going to make the dough slippery, and we don't want that. We want it to hold our rolls together. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my best to frost this. If you accidentally melt your butter, that's okay. It'll just be runny all over the place. It'll be messy when you roll it up, but they're still gonna taste delicious, so don't sweat it. All right, here we go. It's time to roll them up. So you're gonna start at this long edge right here, and you're going to roll as tightly as you can into a log. Just do little bits at a time from end to end and try to keep the log even as you go. Ooh, the oven's ready.
And the tighter your log, the more cinnamon swirl layers you're going to have inside. Kind of pull it and tuck it. See where this was a problem? I didn't get this all the way out, so I'm going to have these strange cinnamon rolls on the end, but that's okay.
And now we want to go ahead and cut it into 12 pieces. So here's how we do that. We're going to use your estimating skills and this very important tool. This is a serrated knife. It has those little jagged saw-like teeth. And it's very important to use a serrated knife because you need to be able to saw through the dough without crushing it. If you used a straight edge knife, it would push down into the dough and it would crush it, and you'd have these like flat cinnamon rolls instead of nice big round ones. So I'm going to estimate where halfway is. I'm going to eyeball it. And then I'm going to just gently saw, just make these slices back and forth, trying to keep the dough as puffy and round as I can. So there's half. I'm going to cut it in half again. Each piece, I estimate a half. So when your math teacher asks you to estimate things, it's very important that you learn how. Now, I have 4 pieces. I want a total of 12. How many pieces do I cut each quarter into? That's right, 3. So I'm going to estimate thirds now. 1, 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Okay, this end piece is strange. That's okay. Now I'm going to set these in my pan. 3 rows of 4 with the swirls facing up. Hi, honey. I just got a visitor. Do you want to see what I'm making?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, come on in.
Oh man, those look delicious.
Doesn't that look good?
Wow.
So,
Man, she makes perfect swirls.
thanks, hon.
How you doing, Mama?
Good. How are you, boy?
How's her?
It's going well. We're just at the end here. We did not let this dough rise before we rolled it up. So we're going to let them rise. See this weird one? I'm going to cut that again. It's just going to be weird.
See, simple as that. How's everybody doing? Are they following along okay?
I think they are. Every time kids watch the video, they send me pictures of what they've made, and it's perfect. I'm very impressed.
She's very talented. Mwah.
Thanks, honey. Nice to see you. These will be ready in a bit. Okay, they're in our pan. Now what I'm going to do is let them rise. Warm your oven to 350 degrees. Cover these rolls. Let them double in size. Then you can put them in the oven. Now, here's another really cool thing that you can do with cinnamon rolls. If you're not ready to bake these yet, just cover them in plastic, stick them in the freezer, and you might want to double cover them, maybe a layer of plastic and a layer of foil. Stick them in the freezer, and when you're ready to bake them, say in a week from now or 2 weeks from now, they'll stay in the freezer for about a month. You set them out on the counter to thaw, which will take about an hour to 2 hours. Then you can put them in the oven and have cinnamon rolls. It's great for when you want to have something really fancy and delicious in the morning for guests, and you don't have time.